Welcome to that spiritual, actual, factual answers to questions you're asking. You find them inside you, recite you, reciting the records. Akashic, we laughing, we drafting the passion to vary. It's time for that comedy, dramedy, all of the fanciest, catchiest acronyms. Listeners, listen, we traveling. Consciousness is always unraveling. The reading you're having is mapping you back to your natural habitat. Abracadabra, it's magicless, passing it. To top it off, the host, all the classiest. Now, what were you asking for? All of the answers? What? All the answers.
Thanks, lady. Record this in progress. My internet sucks, so it might.
Oh.
We'll see. I'm at my parents' house, so.
Oh, right. Okay.
We'll see. We'll just keep an eye on it. Might have to turn off the cameras and stuff, but we'll do our best.
Hold on. Chauncey's going to say hi.
I'm sorry.
No. You're on. I wanted to have you on the podcast.
Cast.
Here, hold on. Let me revert.
Chauncey face. What's up, buddy? You look like a weird, creepy, like AI thing, the way you are showing up.
I want to see his great face. Hey, Cassidy.
Hey, now I'm just seeing your scalp.
He can't hear you, Cassidy.
Oh.
Cassidy, he can't hear you because you're in my ears. So
That's
Eric,
right.
Cassidy said you look like a weird AI because the blurry background thing is on. And you're, I don't know why else.
And you're in a phone.
There's his face.
It's not the first time I've been accused of
And you're in a phone. He says, that's not the first time I've been accused of that.
Yeah.
But you can hear him, right, Cass?
Yeah. Tell him it's partially because he has weirdly perfect features.
Oh, Cassidy says, Eric, you look like AI right now, partially because you have weirdly perfect features.
Oh, shucks.
That's the weirdest backhanded compliment ever.
It's for the features.
You're so pretty, you're probably fake.
Ah.
Well, Katie, I just, after all those messages, you telling me, like, you're going through a lot yesterday, and just felt like checking in and saying hi and acknowledging that. Like, I did go straight from work to gig and all that stuff, but, I know you're going through a lot right now, and it's a big moment, and I would be like, I totally want to be there and like hear about it.
Audience, listeners, do you get how cool this dude is? Do you understand? All of you in the world, this is what you deserve. You should all have at least this much kindness in your life, and then we would all be okay on Earth. Thanks, Boo Boo. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm going to message you after we do this, but I'm glad the podcast world gets to hear how good of a human you are.
Sweet. Later, I'll give you a list of the other inappropriate things I'm stopping myself from saying right now.
You know our podcast. You could say them.
No, it's even worse than usual.
Okay, great.
All right.
All right. I love you. You're handsome.
I love you too. You're handsome too.
See you later.
Okay, seriously, Katie, I had forgotten how fine he is.
Oh, thank you. That's the best.
He does have weirdly perfect features.
Isn't he a hottie?
God,
Patati?
He's a hunk.
Hunky
But also,
patunky.
there was a softening of that in like the words coming out of his mouth made him look even prettier.
He's unfucking believable. Can you imagine a world in which I said no to that man?
Yeah, like twice.
I'm such an injured baby, a widow broken winged bird. What a dummy.
What a dumb.
But it's a really good topic for the podcast. Like, there's so much in that. There's so much in that. One, being able to receive kindness. Couldn't do it. I could not do that. And I want people to hear that who are listening because it's a healing podcast, spirituality podcast. I had to work to become someone by softening my heart, clearing trauma off my heart and out of my nervous system who could receive kindness like that. And I had to also work to become someone who didn't judge it as weakness.
Oh, that his kindness was weakness in him.
Correct.
Oh, God. He was a beta cuck.
Yeah. In my hyper overdeveloped 8 defensive strategy system. Yep.
Yeah.
And also like the thing of being able to, like, the main game changer of all of it, like the receiving of love, not being confused about kindness does not make you a loser. And the third thing is being willing to do like regular check-ins. Like when I'm hearing you say blank, is that what you mean? And he's just so patient and generous. And he'll be like, oh, I'm glad you asked. No, I actually mean this. And I'll be like, you're the best. And it's over in 20 seconds.
Every time.
And it never had to be an argument.
That fucking tool, I mean, it's not just a linguistic tool because you have to be able to actually have that conversation, and that requires some background work.
Yep.
But that fucking tool of saying, this is the story I'm telling, and not coming at it from, this is what's happening. You don't hear me suddenly?
Nope. You're breaking up pretty bad. Let's try to turn our cameras off. You're there, but it's like choppy.
Yep. Stoppity video.
Better.
Okay, great.
You're the best. Thank you.
What I was saying was that tool of saying, this is the story I'm experiencing. Let me check that.
Yep.
As opposed to, hey, this is what's happening. Let's fight about that.
Exactly. You can never, I have learned from me, and this is the gift of like hitting bottom with a lot of shit in your life. Like I think people who like don't have a rock hard shitty bottoms with like relationships or pain or addiction, I think it's harder to change and try these things because they all seem goofy and stupid.
Yeah.
But like, thank God I'm a failure at most things without tools, because first of all, he loves the check-ins. Did I tell you we have a joke that's like a real thing that we do where he keeps, I get a point every time I check in.
Do you get to cash in those points for like
yes,
oral or something?
Yes. The only challenge is he's down for oral 900 hours a day to give. I have to like push him away from Karen. We call my vagina Karen.
That's an interesting choice for, given the history of that word name.
No, that's why though.
Is she kind of pushy and demanding and self-centered and thinks that the way she views the world is the only possible interpretation?
She's the opposite of that, and that's the joke. That's the irony. Yeah.
I mean, I know some incredibly loving, caring Karens too. So
fair enough. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I always tease him. I'm like, wait, you're getting points to do a thing. I'm getting points for you to do a thing you already want to do. How about points for like, how about you pay me? Cash. These are all jokes, but it's very sweet that he not only likes it, but like he's excited about it. He's like, he always says like, you know how reassuring it is for me when you check in, because then I'm like, A, she cares. B, she's finding out what reality is and not building resentment for me.
Yep.
C, she's giving me an opportunity to tell the truth. D, she's communicating well. I mean, he's like, it's super reassuring. And I'm like, fucking, that's so healthy of you.
Yeah. And we also have to remember that isn't everybody's, like, it isn't a rule that if you don't check in, you don't love.
No.
But it is important that people know that, like a long time ago in Rami and my relationship, there would be, Rami would go out and like be with friends and would, occasionally, I'm going to crash at a friend's house or stay out all night. And that's fine. There's no problem with that. But if I woke up at 2 a.m. and they weren't there, I would get worried, even though I'm not, and in Rami's framework, they were like, oh, that doesn't occur to me to be worried about you. Right.
Mm.
So they wouldn't check in because they could view that as like, I'm checking up on them, as opposed to just, no, I literally just would like to be able to go back to sleep at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is just shoot me a text or just say like, hey, I'm staying over, or it looks like I'm going to be out all night. I'm not going to be home till 6. Not because I need to keep tabs on you.
Yeah, exactly.
But because my little fear heart gets kicked on. So the act of love in that case was doing, as I was saying, I need you to do this for me, not because I don't trust you. And I guess what I'm saying is like for you, regular check-ins weren't necessarily necessary to prove love or to express love, but it matters to him.
No, I would have to frame that completely differently than that.
Okay.
It's more like, for me, I wasn't willing to check in because I believed my narrative and I didn't believe him. So like, I didn't trust him when he'd say, no, I don't mean it like that. I would be like, no, you do mean it like that. So now when I'm checking in, I'm talking about checking in on what were you actually saying? When you said pass the salt, and the subtext I heard was, I think you're a mean lady. I'll say to him now all the time, I'm hearing you say, you think I'm a mean lady. Is that what you're saying when you say pass the salt? And he'll say, oh God, no, I'm saying, I think you look nice today. Also, could I have the salt? And so then we have clarity of understanding each other, because I used to never be willing to check in because I was so convinced of my view on what he was saying, which is so crazy when you think about it, because I'm not him.
Yeah.
Also, I think the thing you're describing in your past relationship with Rami is just a difference of what you both need.
Yeah.
That's a difference in needs.
Yeah.
Which is, also there's a lot that could be said about that right there. That's like kind of a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So our running little mantra is check-ins are helpful. Because I just can't believe how many times I'll think like what he's saying is a totally other thing than what he's saying. And because now I trust him and I believe him and I know that I just trust him. He's proven his trustworthiness a million times over, and I finally can receive it. That's the thing I really hope the listener is hearing. So much of this stuff about trauma creates walls on the heart, and they're defensive walls that make it impossible to receive compliments, love, truth. They also make it really hard to receive money, support, care. Everything is about receiving in this reality. So we really undervalue receiving in this world because we're so patriarchal and we're focused on what am I doing, right? What is the action I'm taking? And that's good because you do have to take action in life. But the receiving piece is what keeps most people from getting everything they're looking for. And what I know is you can't just be like, okay, now I receive well. Go gadget receiving. It doesn't really work. One has to do a bunch of processing to get one's heart open to receive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and also let's talk about the difference between like receiving and getting or taking.
Yeah.
Because, that's important. The language of like, because you're saying like in our culture, we have a hard time receiving, but in our culture also, one of the baselines of our culture is getting yours or taking or being, not so much like deserving that in that more spiritual way, but like being entitled to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wealth accumulation and like, whatever it is, like that's mine. I get that, which is not there. I'm going to go out on a limb, and this is a judgment filled phrase. I'm just going to say it. But like the idea is those people aren't receiving either because it's not going into their heart.
It's a tricky thing because it's not the simplest thing to break down, because here, I'll explain a little bit more. There's a thing about like, okay, sometimes people who have a lot of money or the ability to create a lot of money are quite good at receiving money. For whatever reason, they were raised with a lot of it. They were told they deserve it. They grew up in a wealthy neighborhood, whatever it might be. But just because you can receive money doesn't mean you're open to receive love. Or just because you can receive love doesn't mean you're open to receiving money. So why is that? It's because the things we're able to receive or not able to receive break down along the lines of what is the frequency your heart is resonating at? And your heart can only resonate at a frequency that is not blocked by the energy of unprocessed pain. Another way to say that would be, if I have pain from my childhood that leads me to believe, and notice the order of events there, pain, emotional pain, leads me to believe a thought. So feelings lead to thought. That if I have pain that leads me to believe I don't deserve love, I've got to process that pain. Like I've got to feel it and process it out of my body so that I can now not have that junky, heavy, stuck energy there, so I can receive love. In the place, it literally goes into the place in the heart where the junky, heavy energy that of the original pain was living. It lives like a stuck energy, like a wall. So it's similar for money. Like, let's say you have some kind of pain in childhood that teaches you that, I don't know, money is hard to come by, or you don't deserve to have any money. Then you're going to have unprocessed pain on the heart that acts like a plug or a wall to you receiving more money. So when you process that pain, all of a sudden there's room to receive more money. Now you still have to do stuff to make it happen, but at least then you can receive it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So yeah. Definitely also finding that there's a variety of things you can receive, and they're all different and all have different frequencies, and they're not. So you might be open to one and not the other, or.
Yeah. And they do help each other. Like they do overlap and they do connect to each other and they do relate to one another. Like as I've been able to receive more money, I've noticed that I've been like, it's been opening the part of my heart that can receive love. But I do notice that we can't assume that just because you can receive one thing, you can receive the other. Cause I've made that mistake and it doesn't work.
Like I'm open to receiving now, so I'm healed in the receiving category.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, let's look at each thing one at a time kind of deal.
I love that.
So I was super late to taping today, as Cassidy knows, but the listener doesn't, because I'm like delirious from exhaustion from packing.
And the listener asks, Katie, why are you packing again? What is that about? Where are you packing to go?
Well, before I answer those questions, I just want to say I thought of you this morning, Cass, because I was like, I think I might have joined the human race officially because I now hate moving.
Finally.
Yeah. I think I hate it now. I think I'm all done and I don't need to do it any more times.
Good. I'm so glad you're experiencing hate in your heart. No.
It's just like, I don't know. I hit bottom with that too. It's like, I needed to do this for the amount of time I needed to do it. And now I do not.
So this time you didn't make it a year.
That's right.
Because you're almost exactly a year in Mancus and then almost exactly a year in Beacon.
That's right.
In Jacksonville, you've only been like 9 months or something?
Well, let's think about it because I moved into this condo in November. But I was at Sarah's house
for a few months.
A few months before that. I came in, let me think about it, September or August.
So you're damn close.
Actually, yeah. If it was August, then it's exactly a year.
Yeah. All right. So good. I like that better. I like your pattern being a year.
Me too.
Until now it's done. Maybe. We'll see if it's done. But
yeah,
never say anything. It's all on the table.
Yeah, one day at a time. But it sure feels like to my nervous system's like, we are all set with this experience.
Yeah.
We've been there. We did it. We needed to do what we needed to do. We don't need to do it anymore. Let's go. Let's do this. Yeah. So the what is it? The hen is coming home to roost. Is that a thing?
Sure. All the chickens have come home to roost, but you're being more gender specific with your particular self. Because you use she, her pronouns, so you're a hen. That's all good. Was that carefully stated? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, good job. Good job being clean.
Oh my God. Rami sent me a meme of a comedian, not a meme, a little clip of a comedian talking about millennials or zennials or Gen Z, I guess, and how they are. I can't quote it too much, but it was so all the things, which included like, oh my God, Queen, slay, you're on stolen land. It's so like every little thing they're so careful about, but that just comes so trippingly out of their mouths of like, that's, all the standard languaging. Like that struggle that I just went through to get that right would not have been a struggle. It's just like,
that's so funny. Yeah. Speaking of millennials, I got mistyped as a millennial the other day and I was like so excited about it.
Because you're ex.
Yeah. So I was out with a millennial friend, a new buddy here in town, and we went to the movie theater and we like couldn't figure out where our movie was. We were like, is it here? Is it there? And this young girl who was younger than 20, I'm sure. We like couldn't figure out how we both wanted to buy Dippin' Dots, but the Dippin' Dots came in like a plastic bag. So we were talking between ourselves and they were in their own little freezer, like before you get to the checkout thing. And we were like, well, if we buy the bag here, like, does that mean they're going to melt and where's the spoon? And how do we do this? And the girl turned around. She was adorable. And she was like, The way it works here is like, I recommend, like strong recommend, wait till you get up there, tell them you want a Dippin' Dots. They give you the spoon, then you go back to get it after because then it doesn't melt. And we were like, oh my God, girl, thank you so much. And then a few minutes later, we were lost in our trying to find the theater. And she's like, yeah, it's crazy. The X's are over there and the Y's are over here and the 12s are over there. She like directed us. And as we were walking away, my friend said, you know, that girl is going like, these millennials, they're just so lost. I helped these millennials today. And I like couldn't bring myself to say to her, like, I'm not even a millennial, homie.
Oh, that's funny. Like your friend didn't know actually how old.
No, which is both flattering and, well, it's just flattering. Because I was like, thank God she thinks I'm young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She thought I was younger than I am.
Younger than. I mean, and now millennials are actually kind of older.
Like mistyping me as I know, but that's my point is like millennials are being looked at as like the like old guys who need help. So if they knew about me, it's like, I'm like a grandma now, I guess.
Yeah. What about the greatest generation?
Yeah. Those guys.
Or what? The baby boomers. I guess we don't even have greatest gen. They're mostly dead. It's mostly baby boomers now
They're boomers, yeah.
Who are old. Like I think my parents are boomers and they're in their 80s. So
what are you?
Oh, I'm solid X.
Okay.
Solid X. I'm like I'm the heart of Gen X in terms of like all the movies that were sort of referencing when Gen X first came out. They were all like class of 87, I would say.
High school class of 87?
High school class of 87.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I'm high school class of 95.
So we got 8 years. A little 8 year swing.
How long is a period of time that gets called a thing?
They are all very different. You have to like look at charts. And what's funny about those charts is sometimes they literally just don't even list Gen X. They just skip those years.
So weird.
On some like infographics or something. You're like, what, you forgot one.
Why would they do that?
The one that started the whole concept of gen or generation. Because before that, there was like I guess they were the greatest generation. And then they were the baby boomers.
Right. So why would they skip X's?
I don't understand. But I've seen a couple of different ones from like news reports that were like talking about this idea. And then you're like, oh, you left one out of there. What's going on?
That's odd. We matter. We exist.
We matter. Please notice me. Notice me.
So I've been packing all my boxes because I'm a chicken and I'm coming back to the roost of California.
That's the end of that idea, is that Katie's coming back to Cali.
Here's the official announcement. Back to Cali, bitches.
Do you know where you're going to live yet?
Well, I'm going to stay with my man friend for a bit and see what happens.
There you go. Yeah, what if you just moved in with him?
That's a whole new fucking world for this bitch right here.
That would solve the whole housing crisis that you wouldn't have to deal with here in the Bay.
I mean, I've been looking at options and everything's, pricier than where I am, obviously. But it's the same. Here's what I noticed. The pricing is the same in Denver, Miami, New York, San Francisco Bay Area. I haven't looked at LA, but to get, you're paying $3,000 to get a 1-bedroom or thereabouts.
So it just sucks everywhere.
And you're getting a deal if it's less than that. So like Jacksonville, I'm getting a deal. Sweet, sweet deal. But Jacksonville's a very weird place. So it's not Denver, Miami, New York, San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah, I was just like, what if I just don't have to figure this out exactly yet and I can just be with my sweet, sweet boyfriend? Like, why would I not do that? And then it's like, I've been feeling into all kinds of, and speaking of processing all kinds of fears of engulfment and fears of losing myself and fear that I won't be able to do it. And we've been having great check-ins about it. And he's like, babe, we're good at communicating. We know what to do. If you're stressed, you're going to tell me and we're going to work it out. And it just makes me feel so put at ease about the whole thing.
Could be cool.
It's a big step in Katie Rubin land.
Well, I guess there isn't like a secondary office room in that space.
Well, there's bedroom, office, living room, 2 bathrooms.
Oh, okay. And he has like his recording stuff in the bedroom, right?
No, he works now since COVID out of his living room. And I was in the office when I stayed with him recently.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like the office became my space and the living room is his workspace / where we watch TV, which I'm fine with.
That could work.
Yeah, for the time being. I think we both know that we would need something bigger if we're going to stay together in a space, or, you know, we each need our own space. So we'll see how it all unfolds. There's a lot. I mean, as you and I have talked about on here, I'm worried about the Bay Area. I feel, you know, we've talked about this. It feels like there's a rumbling under the ground there to me, like some kind of implosion wants to happen or something. I don't know. And like, I don't know, every day there's something in the news about the tech industry's instability. And then like Twitter is now called X. And like, what the fuck is going on?
It's mad. There's still more layoffs happening, and like even the biggest, most big deal companies. And
yeah,
it's a little wackadoodle out here. So
yeah.
Do you want an abrupt change of topic?
Sure.
We're going to turn on our cameras and hope it works.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to introduce you to somebody who we've talked about on the podcast.
Oh boy.
Who we did a whole reading about.
Oh my.
This is Umi.
Hi, Umi.
This is Umi, who, you know, we talked about and found out that indeed Umi is in existence and has
a being with a consciousness.
Has beingness. So I just thought you could appreciate actually seeing Umi and getting
Umi's got a lot going on. Let's describe Umi for the listener. Tell us what's happening there, Cass.
Well, Umi is a semi-realistic tiny monkey doll who fits if you go and buy, like, I don't know, it's not American Doll, but like there's a particular size of like girl doll that, you know, you buy at Target or wherever else, and those clothes that you can buy more for also mostly fit Umi. So that's, if you want to buy outfits for Umi, you get a, 37-inch doll outfit. So Umi has a really good variety of clothes. And right now she's in her sort of queer rainbow disco outfit, which is pretty awesome. This is probably what she had on for Pride and has kept it on ever since.
Okay. I need to describe, though, for the listening audience, what's happening. This is a monkey doll. The bottom parts of its body are covered with rainbow flare pants, like pants that flare out like hippie pants. What are those called? Bell bottoms. Duh.
Bell bottoms.
Above that, on the top, is what looks like a Hello Kitty blue short sleeve sweatshirt.
What is Hello Kitty? You're not wrong.
Okay. And yeah, look at that. And then coming out from the short sleeve blue sweatshirt is black and white long sleeves striped. And then a hat, a gray, let me see that. Can you turn it to him? A floppy hat with a pink bow on it.
Yep. Kind of a backwards, like it has a bill, but it's kind of put on backwards.
Okay, like a page boy hat.
Like a page boy hat or a newsy hat.
And then black sunglasses that Umi took off, and now they're back on. So Umi's like let me characterize what I would call the vibe here. This is Burning Man DJ rain hat vibes if it were cool at Burning Man, not hot.
There you go. I think it's almost like, I don't know if you remember early Simpsons, Homer started doing voiceover for an animated character for like an episode, which is ironic. Yeah. And that character was called like
Eric would know.
Doggy the dog or Chompy the dog. And he was the most like obvious, like sort of, I'm a teen on a teen skateboard, like a teen would be, but I'm a dog. And like, it was, all the lines were really sort of awkwardly like, hey, fellow teens, what's going on? I'm going to ride off. It was a mockery of Bart, frankly, in the meta way.
Okay, got it.
But I feel like that's a little bit like what Umi's got going on right now, is like, hey, look at my hat and my glasses.
Right. I'm edgy. I do drugs on the weekend with my friend. I sneak out of my mom's house. I wear what I want.
That being said, she rocks it, and it isn't self-conscious from her point of view. It's just like,
fair enough.
If I were to place an iconic image on it, that's what it looks like.
That's fair.
I don't mean to insult you, Umi. I'm sorry.
You're deeply loved and respected by all, Umi.
You truly are. Like, even like Denise's husband and parents, both of whom are not woo-woo weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And don't really like they fully just, is Umi okay? Did you bring Umi? Like, treat Umi as a being. And there doesn't seem to be a wink behind it when they're doing it, even though they wouldn't like have that same casual acceptance of all the rest of the stuff.
But they love and respect Denise, right? And she treats Umi that way.
Yeah.
So they're probably just honoring her.
But like, she's even described like her dad being worried about Umi. Like when Umi wasn't there, like, I haven't seen Umi. What's going on? Like, like, so I just think that's pretty sweet.
That's very sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought since Umi was here, you should meet her because
I'm very glad you did.
She was almost a guest on the podcast.
Well, didn't we open Umi's records?
Yeah, we did, and confirmed indeed that her consciousness was in existence.
That reminds me, for the listener, if you have a question about a building or a job or an address, a location, anything at all that you want the records opened of, just send us the question. Jesus Christ. Okay, speaking of questions, we got one, didn't we?
Well, it's more of a response, but there might be a question in there. Let me pull it up.
There was a question in there, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. Yeah. I also have two other things to check in on both of us with, you and me.
Oh, cool. You want to do that first?
Actually, before we get to that, we both got an assignment from Records.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to check in on for both of us, because I think we both had a very specific task that we were to achieve in our meditation/prayer.
Yep.
Also, I just want to report, I really, really appreciated that framing that we did a couple of weeks ago around like prayer versus meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and I've been sort of mulling that over, and that prayer is talking to or asking for, and meditation is listening, like listening for the answer or listening for the response. And that kind of helped me not like feel the pressure, as it were, of like being in conversation, like if I say something and I don't hear something back, then I'm failing somehow. Yeah,
no, that takes a certain amount of blah, blah, blah.
That's a whole other level of something, but on its simplest level. Yeah. So that, my assignment was to say these 3 prayers 3 times each every day for 3 weeks. So there's a lot of 3s there, which I love 3s.
Ah, you are a 3.
Big fan of 3s. And I am a 3, and I love 3s. And I talk about 3s in all of my client coaching when they're like look, the Western mind loves 3s in terms of like storytelling, beginning, middle, end, comedy, everything. 3s is just, it relaxes the soul to recognize a 3, I think.
The Trinity.
Yeah.
Like it's in the biblical references, Father, Son, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And like, I love the number 13 too. And even though it's not divisible by 3, but it has a 3 in it, and that helps somehow. I feel good about that.
That makes sense.
Anyway, so I did it. I never missed a day.
That's amazing.
I did it for 3 weeks solid.
Wow.
Every single day. There were a couple days where I was about to go to bed, and I was like, oh shit. And so I just did it before I go into bed. Or sometimes I do it first thing in the morning. Sometimes I do it in the middle of the day.
And what did you notice? What happened as you were doing it, or after, or ever? Sensations, feelings, anything?
During it, especially early on, lots of yawning, which was kind of like the moment I started the Golden Light Prayer, just yawns. And it wouldn't be at a time when I was already like feeling sleepy. There's Katie's yawning because I said the word yawn. Feeling sleepy, or like being suggested to yawn. It felt like it was a drive, like going, you got to yawn now. Here it comes. Here's something moving. So I appreciated that.
Cool.
Only recently was able to kind of let go of the mental construct of, you're not doing it from your heart. You're doing it from your mind. You should be doing it from your heart. Look, your mind is very active, so you can't possibly do it from your heart because you're thinking thoughts in order to make words, and your brain makes words like blah, blah, blah. And all I had to do to get rid of that was like, go kind of just nod and smile at it. Yeah, that's cute. Like just let go of the need of the brain's analysis of it to matter.
Okay. So I need to say something here for the listener, because that's a good, really great thing to say. So that's a stage of development of one's relationship to meditation and prayer that people go through. It's a very normal stage. But what it speaks to is exactly the thing we were talking about at the beginning today of meditation and benefiting from it, being able to relax because of it, or feel into something other than your mind, or, have it shift your state of being. That is a kind of receiving. Like, you have to be able to receive consciousness in order to relax as a result of it and have the benefits of meditation. So before one can receive, one has to process or clear or yawn out everything in the way of being able to receive it. So because you're doing the work of running these prayers, it's clearing whatever's on your heart that makes the thing you just said possible. In other words, when you're in meditation and you are more connected to the heart, it's easier to then choose, you could say, to not listen to the mind or be bossed around by the mind. Mm-hmm. But at the beginning, it's impossible to not be bossed around by the mind. So it takes time. People always think meditation should feel good right away, and that if it doesn't, they're doing something wrong, or it's not for them, or I'm not meant for this. It's like, no. You got to carve out the pathways in the heart and in the energy field that make it feel good. And in order to do that, you got to start somewhere, and you got to start with where it doesn't feel good. So I applaud you on committing to that degree, because you've opened the channels enough, all the various channels, that it's now starting to benefit you quickly, which is fucking great.
And I will also put in, thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited about it. I would also add for what was useful and helpful to me was the quantifiable is the wrong word. The repeatable, almost one could say, because it was put in front of me, it could become somewhat mindless. And I don't mean not mindful.
I know what you mean.
But I mean
not mental.
Not mental. Here are 3 prayers. Just say them.
Practice. Just do it. Like an action.
And trust that if you just do these things every day, you don't have to come up with how it's working. You don't have to go or like, okay, I'm meditating. How do I meditate? What do I do? Like, being just here's just, tap 3 times on this box.
Right.
Every day.
I'll tell you, that's why most people like TM as a starting meditation, because everybody gets a mantra and you have very practical things to do. You sit down and you do them instead of, what do I just sit here and I feel crazy and how do I know if I'm doing it? If you just say the mantra, over time you get the benefits. So it's like that.
I think I've said this on the podcast prior, but I'm going to repeat it. This is, we know as teachers that we constantly get to be reminded of our own teachings and go, oh, right. No, that's what I tell people all the time. How did I just learn it again?
Yep.
And forgot to practice it or whatever. Like I tell my coaching clients, I coach people on presentation and how to do good presentations. And a lot of people's initial fear is just like, I don't know how to start, or
right.
I need to know how to calm my nerves before I speak. And, the company we both work with occasionally, we have a pretty straightforward, like, here's a set of warm-ups. And we've streamlined it and made it simple so that it also is repeatable. And this idea of like, you don't have, just trust me, if you do this a whole bunch, there's, yes, the value you get of stretching your face and taking deep breaths, and the physical, whatever stretch part of it is very important, but equally important to that. And this is my big, I don't think this is on our, we haven't been trained in this as specific employees of this company, but my big thing is equally important to that is the ritual. Mm-hmm. That you can trust this process because you've decided to trust this process. And that if you iterate on it, the more you do it, the more useful it becomes. And then you can just be like, oh, I know that if I do this, I'll be ready. And then suddenly you'll discover that you did it and you're ready.
What's your profile again? 3-1?
No, I always forget. Every time you ask me, I forget. There's certain things I don't retain.
Here, will you look that up? Because I'm going to go get the prayer book because I think we need to look at it. And then will you look that up?
Oh, yeah, because the end point of this was that we needed to create a prayer for Gabriel now that we've done this background.
Okay, I'll ask. And I have a client in 20 minutes because I'm an asshole.
Oh, okay, shit.
I'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? Rami here. I'm in Vermont and I'm doing, I'm in a musical that is weird and wonderful and subversive and very queer. And it is called Noise. And it's about creating new society, new anti-capitalist models for society, basically fixing society through music. And it is something that breaks a lot of roles about what plot should look like and what dialogue should look like. And, you know, it falls under the category of experimental theater. And the music is also very, very complicated and strange and beautiful. And the audience will go on a whole emotional journey in this piece. In fact, the audience ends up in the show by the second act. And I'm really, really in love with this piece. However, in order to get this musical made, we are completely the victims of capitalism. I mean, that is how most theater is made in America, right? But in our case, this regional theater company in Vermont basically has 3 weeks that we can be in their space for. So from beginning to end. So that includes the performing. So like basically we have 2 weeks or less to mount a full, long, complicated musical with all of the trimmings. And that's actually not enough time. And that includes the band. The actors are also the band. And we are working in the space where they are also creating the set. Like we are on stage, which means that that the people who build the set can't work while we're working and vice versa, you know. And also the musicians can't practice outside of our rehearsal time, really have no time to practice at all because of our limited resources of space and time. Anyway, so we are rushing like crazy to do this thing that is complicated. And rushing itself is a tool of the patriarchy. It's a tool of capitalism. And here we are espousing all these anti-capitalist ideas and all these like ideas about creating new models. And yet we are completely at the mercy of sort of the most extreme version of those models ourselves. It's really interesting. And in the process of rushing, last night, one of our cast members was injured and is going to need surgery, actually. And now we have a day off. So like at the moment, everything just went, how will we respond to this new situation? Well, stay tuned. Rami's rules.
There we go. 1-3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's funny because you just talking right then, I was like, oh, I'm hearing the third line and I'm hearing the first line. That's why I asked you, are you a 3-1? But you're a 1-3. Yeah. That's so funny. You used literal words that are taught for what ones are and literal words that are taught for what a 3 is.
That's funny.
That's really interesting. I've been thinking a lot about this human design idea they teach where they're like, the more you get into learning your own chart and yourself and other people's charts, the more you start to see just how almost next to impossible it is to really understand how different somebody else's reality is from your own. In other words, we think we understand each other, but then when I hear a first line, a 1-3 talk, I'm like, I have to like really translate it through my filter of understanding. I'm like, right, because he's a 1, he would see it that way. And the third line body, sure.
Oh, right.
But like, I would never say the things I would say the way you just said it, but it makes total sense for a 1-3, which is why I'm just like, it's endlessly fascinating, the system, and very empowering to like, once you understand how different people are and how specific we each are with our ways of like the specificity of the lens through which we're seeing reality, it's so much of life becomes depersonalized. You know, there's nothing personal. People are just so fucking different. you can't even, you could barely start to understand the degree of difference until you have like a chart that explains it. Anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so they want me to do this prayer right now, and then we're going to look at let me look at your thing of, is now the time to create the Gabriel prayer? I get a yes. They want me to read mine. Here we go. This is for everybody.
So this is the one you were supposed to do before for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, which I did a bunch, but not with regularity because I do so much other shit.
Yeah.
So this is for anybody for whom this may be relevant. So you might want to take a few deep breaths into your low belly if you're listening now. Really letting your belly muscles soften.
And maybe don't listen if you're in the car right now.
And just bringing your attention into the heart center. Try to imagine these words, the energy, the sound of these words penetrating all the way into your heart. And we're going to go ahead and open the Akashic Records of anyone listening for whom this prayer would be beneficial. Give me just a moment. All right, so feeling into your heart center, relaxing the mind, dropping your body into the chair you're in like a sack of rice, letting the chair hold you up. Mother, Father, Goddess, God, please help me to remember that I am always home. There is no place in my life where spirit is not. I am loved and embraced by those I meet on this brief human journey. I am safe here. I release any fears from the past still causing me pain. I'm grateful for your guidance and love as I commit to this human path. So it is, blessed be. We're going to do it 2 more times. Feel into any anxiety or heaviness or tension that comes up for you, listener, if there is any, as we go through this, and just stay with that while the prayer is moving. Mother, Father, Goddess, God, please help me to remember that I am always home. There is no place in my life where spirit is not. I am loved and embraced by those I meet on this brief human journey. I am safe here. I release any fears from the past still causing me pain. I'm grateful for your guidance and love as I commit to this human path. So it is, blessed be. One more time. Mother, Father, Goddess, God, please help me to remember that I'm always home. There's no place in my life where spirit is not. I am loved and embraced by those I meet on this brief human journey. I am safe here. I release any fears from the past still causing me pain. I'm grateful for your guidance and love as I commit to this human path. So it is, blessed be. Just to share with people how I work with something like this, when I'm saying feel into anything that comes up for you, for me, as I'm saying that, there's a slight tightness in the back of the occipital ridge of the head. It came up each time that blows its way through as I feel into it. Slight tightness in the 3rd chakra that softens each time. And then there's like a brightening of my overall auric field as I say the prayer. Yeah. And so, okay, from this place we're looking at now, Cassidy, we were going to look at a prayer that will connect you with Archangel Gabriel. Is that right?
Yeah. The thought was maybe that there was a prayer that we could sort of adapt now that I've done this sort of laid the groundwork.
Remind me, which were the 2 prayers you were using before?
The 3 were, the first one was the Golden Light Prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 sort of that are right next to each other in the book are release low vibrations and allow higher vibrations.
Okay, give me a second. Okay, here we go. I'll just say it a few times. I'm looking at one of them and they're going to give me some rewrites as I look at it. Okay. Are you going to write it down or you want to just record it or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of got to figure.
You could hit an audio app on your phone maybe.
Yeah, but it won't hear it.
Oh.
Because my phone doesn't have a. Yeah, anyway, that's what I was thinking. I'm recording it here too, so I can just get it off of the recording if I need to find it later.
Exactly. Okay. Mother, Father, Goddess, God, as I become present in this very moment, I ask for your assistance in clearing any low vibrations held in my body. I'm grateful for the clearing I have received in my emotional centers, lower chakras, and heart. Please connect me energetically to Archangel Gabriel and help me to receive the highest vibrational frequencies from him that my body can hold right now. Assist me to integrate the higher frequencies of Archangel Gabriel with ease and grace. My body accepts this higher vibrational healing and is enlivened at a cellular level, so it is, blessed be. So it's a combo blend of those two prayers, but with some words shifted.
That makes sense. I think I can even remember that, but I can go back and get it later. But it starts with the low vibration one, clearing it, and then it asks for help receiving the high vibration from Gabriel.
A bunch of words were cut though, and some things were moved around. So you'll probably want to listen back to I would just write it down.
Yeah.
And then let's just scan through this book and see if either you or I or the listeners could use any other prayers for today before we have to wrap until 12.
The one I keep looking at and keeps showing itself to me, it's right before the low vibration one, is the Access Creativity one. And I have the impulse to just add to it, like to say like creativity and expression or creativity and, but I don't know if that's relevant to this. That might be a mental construct.
What do you mean by and expression?
This prayer talks about accessing creative energy, and creativity is great, but that brings it forth. But then the thing I'm kind of been obsessing on, or maybe that's the problem if I'm obsessing around Gabriel, is that everything about Archangel Gabriel is about clarity of communication and expression.
Yeah.
And like bringing the message and telling the words.
Then that's all you need. Yeah. So then what you'd want to do, the way I hear that is like, as you connect with Gabriel, practice writing down what you hear or recording into a voice app what you hear. So you're just going to choose to express what you hear. I mean, I just don't get anything for you on that other prayer. I feel like you have connection to creativity, which is why they're giving me nothing on that. Let's see here. So are there any prayers for Cassidy, myself, or the listeners? Okay. Let's start with that. Which prayers are going to be useful? Let's do one useful healing prayer for all of our listeners. Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, this is very specific. And it's kind of longish. This is called the Soul Contract to Bridge Heaven and Earth. It's the one for the listeners. Okay. I'm just going to read it. So if this resonates for you, this is for you. Okay, I'm just going to read what it says. It says, it's a little bit different than the prayers we've been doing here. So if you have a soul contract to help heal humanity or help our dear Mother Earth, then you may find it even more useful to create boundaries in an even bigger way. You are rewriting contracts with Earth, including learning to give and receive energy in a different way. You can use the visualization below when you go to a park, forest, or beach, whatever you have access to in your neighborhood or area. Simply sit with your back against a tree or on a park bench and take off your shoes. It's even better if you can go to a beach to bury your feet in the sand. Once you are there, the tripod grounding system visualization will help you get very grounded and present in your physical body. So this is a soul contract to bridge heaven and earth. And by doing this grounding meditation, it's going to help with that. So I'm going to take you through the grounding meditation. If any of you want to keep this or record this for yourselves, you can have it on your phone with you for whenever you're at a beach or a park. With your feet on the ground, imagine that your feet chakras, which are in the arches of your feet, are wide open. Visualize or intend that your feet are growing roots down into the earth. See them go down about 2 or 3 feet into the soil or sand, and then spread out as a thick root system. Now imagine you have a long grounding cord. It can look like an animal tail starting at the base of your spine, the end of your tailbone, extending deep down into the core of the earth. Imagine this tail is as wide as your hips. And as it reaches the core of the earth, wrap it around the core for grounding, clearing, and stability. Some find it helpful to imagine this tail as fluid liquid light, similar to a waterfall. Watch the old dark energy flow down your grounding cord. This is happening for a few people now, myself included. Now ask Mother Earth to help you release and clear all the old energy from your body that no longer serves you. You can imagine it pouring down through your grounding cord or tail into the molten core of the earth, burning up and becoming recycled for the highest good of all. After this meditation, it's a good time to write a soul contract with Dear Gaia/Mother Earth, most especially if you choose to dedicate yourself to supporting her. It is much simpler than we are led to believe. You'd be surprised how many things can be done to help Gaia energetically with conscious intention. Below is the healing prayer to consciously support her. Last chunk here. Dearest Mother Gaia, I honor you and wish to support you. Please guide me to help you by creating strong and solid boundaries. As I become clearer every day, I will support you by becoming a conscious bridge. I bridge high vibrational divine energy through my body to you, through my feet and grounding tail into your earth body. I know this high cosmic energy is uplifting, healing, and supportive on your journey as well as mine. I feel blessed to be able to share this with you. So it is, blessed be. Yeah. Okay, well, may that be useful to as many of you as possible. Let's just do 2 more minutes of this. Let's all keep seeing that grounding cord as wide as our hips, extending down like a liquid light to the core of the earth, wrapping around it like a tail. And let's just visualize all the heaviness and the fears and the doubts and the anxiety and the pain of the past draining out of our bodies through the nervous system and spinal column down into this tail, immediately being transmuted and burned off as it passes through the tail and into the center of the earth. Remember to breathe and use the power of the breath to allow the heavier energies you no longer wish to carry to drain down through the tail into the core. See the heavy energies really falling down through that tail. It helps to really see it and breathe it through. Okay, and so with these last couple minutes, Cassidy, do you have any questions you want to ask through the records at all?
I don't know. Nothing's really crying out right now. I was actually more curious on if you had gotten any response from your desire to leave the earth prayer, like if you had anything to report from your end.
Oh yeah, just like I said, the heaviness of the back of the neck, and then the heaviness in the wherever that was, and it moved and cleared. I guess I should restate for, you don't live with me or know this about me, but pretty much every day I'm doing an hour or so of clearing of something.
Yeah.
So like this stuff gets touched on through that work anyway. So I'm working with some pretty deep shit lately. It's always deep shit, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just my life path, right? So to me, that prayer was nice. It was like, oh yeah, a little tightness there, a little tightness there. But what I got was like, oh, that whole trip I took to Miami that we talked about last episode, all the clearings I did there, Jesus God, were contributing to my desire, readiness, and willingness to be on the earth. So in other words, we activated a lot of it through doing that prayer last time. And then I did it a bunch of times. I didn't do it the prescribed way for sure.
Right.
Then I went to Miami and did like 70 hours of other shit. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'll tell you something, and for the listener too, this book is called From Questioning to Knowing, 73 Prayers to Transform Your Life by Lisa Barnett. This book got me through, it's a very powerful prayer book. And if you have, it's got like a prayer for every single kind of issue pretty much. And if you're in a place where you could use some energetic healing and you're really not up for spending money on sessions with people, like I highly recommend really feeling into the stuck energies in your body and saying these prayers like in relationship to those energies. She's done a great job channeling a lot of light into this book. So I do recommend it as a healing tool. And I love you, Cass. And I guess I'll see you in person in a minute.
Yeah, I love you too. See you soon. Keep in touch.
Let's all do our work.
Do your work and pack your house.
Okay, wish me luck, please, for God's sake. If anybody wants to say a prayer for ease of packing, I'll take it.
It's number 75 in a 73 prayer. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. I love you. Bye.
Were you asking for all of the answers? Say what? All of the answers? Yeah, all the answers.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. We'd love to hear from you. Please email us with your questions so that we have questions to answer in the Akashic Records. Our email address is allanswerspod@gmail.com. That's allanswerspod@gmail.com. And if you'd like to find us on Facebook or Twitter, it's @allanswerspod, @allanswerspod. Thank you.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com